Uh-oh.
Dun dun
Dun,
dun
dun, dun,
dun dun
dun,
dun
dun,
dun
dun,
dun
dun,
dun.
dun.
Kilted
Kilted
balls.
balls.
I think that was
Mm.
better than last time. That was better.
Oh, really? I thought it
I
was terrible.
Oh my gosh. They've all been terrible. But they're getting better. I asked a person at work the other day. I was like singing that song, and they're like, "Hey," uh, I'm like, "What song is that?" And some guy like made some like joke, and I'm like, "I'm serious." And he's like, "It's Smoke on the Water." And I'm like, "Oh,
Oh,
good, thanks." And he's like, "You didn't like it's like the first song everybody learns on guitar." And I'm like, it
it's the
was
first
stuck in
song
my
I
head.
learned.
I'm like, it's stuck in my head. I couldn't remember. It is what it is. I didn't know.
So did you just like did it make you think about it from Beavis and Butthead or it was just
It
stuck in your head?
was stuck in my head. I think I was like doing something and that song was there and I was like, Kilted balls. I think our other ones might be better, but that one was still good.
Awesome.
Um,
That's awesome.
so I'll talk first and then I'm
Yeah.
curious about your 15 minutes of fame. So I have listed all of my sweet futures. So I had a whole bunch of
Okay.
them, and my realization was even though they are going for less ETH right now, they're going for more dollars than I had sold some of the other ones for.
Oh, that makes sense.
And because like the ones that have been listed right now
Hmm.
haven't moved at all. Like I think there's still like 1,300 left of each. I'm like, ooh, that doesn't. I don't know about this project when they're like that, and I don't know how
Hmm.
it's going to work when they get their own system.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to list them all and see if I can make, 10, $20. Some of them I have listed for double what I bought them for, but
Hmm.
we'll do that. And then I also listed my V friends, which is scary. Those of you who've been following along, I have delisted my V friends more than I've listed. So, and if you're like wondering how does that happen, there's ways. There's ways. So I have definitely spent lots of money delisting my V friends, and they're listed again, and we'll see if I delist them again. So
Yeah, because you're not putting them in for a time frame. You're just throwing them up
this
there.
time I did. I've
Oh,
gotten
did
way,
you?
way smarter. So it's three
Okay.
days.
Okay.
3 days for actually, I think almost everything I listed today was like 3 days or a week,
Okay. Well,
and they see how it goes.
the last, I guess I haven't checked today. The last I saw was like 10 and a half was the floor. I haven't looked at all. Is that about the same right now?
It was 10 point nothing
Okay. So it's right
earlier
around
today.
10.
Yep, and the cheapest bat for sale was 20.
Okay.
And I listed my bat for 15, so way, way less. But it looks like the number that I must be working with is 60,000 because that's what it was going for before when I delisted it. So
Okay.
just interesting that it's the same number because of how much ETH has gone up. So
Yeah, that's true. That makes a huge difference.
yeah. So you guys saw in our last super fast episode that Kilted got a tattoo. Flash that tat up on the screen. Let's
It's
see that.
healing well. I still have the lotion on it, the
Nice.
aquifer.
It is
So
it
yeah,
is
it's healing
looking
well.
it's looking good.
Yeah.
Um the I did not expect you to get all of this fame. I don't know why. I didn't even think about it. I was just like, it's amazing that you got that tattoo. And I was like tweeting it out.
Yeah, I was actually I mean, I guess I wasn't really thinking about it when I was in there. I was something that it was cool for myself to do. Like I was, I wanted it. I had thought about it. Even when I first got them, I was thinking about it. I ended up getting all the artwork printed and put up in the warehouse, which you saw. So
Yes.
at work every day, I'm looking at some of my first NFTs. I have my ape, my original dog. I have my two of my Yetis, all my V friends, and I forget what else. But anyways, I have a bunch of my artwork there, and it was always in the back of my mind. And then, like it was just like a little wildfire, when Gary is retweeting it and making comments and the V friends and I mean I've been so active on Instagram, which I haven't really at all, but a bunch of people are making comments on there. So I get on there and you're talking with people and start following more people. And so it's been cool. Someone did ask me, I can't remember if I told you, but I am going to be, I guess they're doing Instagram live next Tuesday evening. So I'm going to check with them and see if they mind if
What was
that I
their name
record it.
again? Let's make sure we get a good shout out.
They are, and I guess they do a bunch of different things with VFriends, and they have different people on there. What am I looking for? Oh, Instagram. Give me 1 second. Yes, that's
No
a great
worries,
idea.
No worries. Yeah,
So
for sure.
they are Stephanie and Manny, and they are VFriends News. So
VFriends News.
Yep, they do. I guess they do Instagram lives and they talk. Because I had asked if they had a podcast as well, or something that I could. Oh, I'm supposed to get them a picture too. I'm glad we talked about this.
Yeah.
She wanted a picture for advertising. I almost forgot.
A picture of just your arm, right?
Well, that's what I said. I'm like, do you just want the arm? Because that's all I really am. And she said, no, I really want a headshot. Do you want me to take something from Instagram? And I'm like, no, I don't really have anything on there. So I'm gonna have I mean, some like with masks or standing in the booth. So I mean, which I guess is fine too.
They're
But
okay.
yeah, I need to find it. I don't
Yeah,
have a
so
lot
it
of
was
pictures of just
interesting.
myself.
Like the next day, I ran up to a colleague's room and was like, dude, I got to show you this clip from my podcast. And like, I was like, oh, like, and I froze there. He's like, oh, that's Kilted. He goes, I saw Gary retweet that. And I was like, whose is that? And he goes, I didn't know it was Kilted. And I was like, yeah, that was
That's
on the
awesome.
podcast. So like it, kind of twirled through.
That is so awesome.
A funny side note, I'm sitting there Friday. I think I put this, I don't remember if I put this in the Discord or not, or if I told you this, but I'm sitting, we're doing like this little roundtable discussion on Friday. I had meetings all day. And this one guy comes running up and, he's a little quirky, but a good dude. And he comes running up and he's like talking to one of my other colleagues. He's like, can I use your phone? Can I use your phone? I need your phone right now. And the guy's like, sure. What are you doing? What are you selling? He's like, oh man, I got to do this. I don't have my phone. Blah, 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 blah. And I like look at him like, having NFT problems, are you? And he's like, how do you know? How do you know? I'm like, when you know, you know. I'm like, I've had that panic before.
So what was it? Did he end up telling you?
He forgot his phone. So he was calling his wife to bring him his phone because he was panicking.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like,
that is awesome.
And I had heard that he was into it. Like I had heard the rumor about it and that he even had a podcast. And I was like, oh, so do you have a few? And he's like, oh yeah, I've got a few. And I'm developing some NFTs for a launch and they're super cool. And he has an awesome freaking idea, super sweet idea. I kind of like it.
Nice.
But he's really big into like the Top Shots and the sports things.
Okay.
Which I'm like, okay, cool. And we're like talking. I'm like, yeah, my buddy just got his VFriends tattooed on his arms. And he's like, well, what's that? I was like, oh, I'm like, I go, they're kind of a big deal. I'm like, what? He's like, what's like your biggest thing that you have right now? And I'm like, well, I didn't buy it, but I traded.
Well, you bought it.
I traded for a VFriend, and I go, it's probably worth, I don't know, 40,000 right now or so. I go, been as high as like 60. He's like, oh, yeah, I've not had that big of a win. And I go, well, that's not really me. I go, but I have sold things for like 4 or 5 ETH before, and made some decent profit.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah. He goes, if you don't mind me asking, he's like, how much have you done on your podcast? He goes, I've been doing mine, and we've been doing this and we've been doing this, and this is all the stuff we talk about. And he goes, and we got a whole bunch of episodes done, and now we've been released them, and we've released like 5 so far. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome, nice job, that's great. And he goes, well, like, how many have you guys released? And I'm like, well, you got to understand, we're kind of low key. Like, we're not like, we don't do a lot of editing and playing. So you're seeing the raw footage pretty much every time. And I'm like, but we've shot 34 episodes, 2 interviews, and a whole bunch of half episodes. He's like, oh. And I'm like, it's not really a thing. Don't worry. Okay, so just
Oh
as an
yes.
aside,
Oh sweet.
we are on the Uncaged Discord. So the Uncaged is being released tonight.
It's tonight.
Sorry, not tonight.
I was like, I
It's
thought I
this
had
week. I
5
meant to say
days.
this week,
I have
but
5
I'm
days
reading
to
at
get
the
to
same time.
18.
I'm reading at the same time as I'm talking.
Oh
So
my
the
gosh. I
Uncaged, the
got sweaty.
8.1, the Nails
Whew.
NFT, those are all being released this week. And so we're kind of excited. Those of you who've been following along, I'm obsessed with the 8.1 and Nails. And I'm really excited about it. And I posted in their Discord today that if people want to ask questions, whatever they want, they can post them and we'll talk about them in the show. So we just had our first question, but it's actually 3 questions.
Yes.
And
Oh my
the
gosh.
first question, these are from Digital Oil Hunter. And do you see his profile pic?
I do. It would be
Look
great
at
to be
that.
able to get people on here. Yeah, he's got a is that an empathy elephant?
It looks like an empathy elephant and a great
Congratulations.
background. So Digital Oil Hunter, if that is real, which I'm sure it is, that's freaking amazing. So that's super cool. So his first question was, will the new movie Dune be fire? So side note, one of my daughters went and saw it with friends last night and came home almost speechless. Now she's never read the
Really?
book and she's never seen any other Dune movies, but she is like, that is amazing. She goes, it was so good. She goes, and I'm like, well, do you want to read the books? And she goes, I do. She goes, but I'm worried that they won't be as good as the movie. That's how good it was. And I was
Wow.
like, she was like, just kept going on and on about just how awesome. But she said it was almost like a prologue. And it was like a prologue. I'm like, how far did it like get? And she like told me, I'm like, that might only be like a prologue. I go, I don't know if
Oh wow.
he's never read the books. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to watch this now. So Digital Oil Hunter, according to my daughter, it is fire.
Are we answering live as well? Because there's no way for them to hear, is it?
I don't think so. The second one, your baby in December, is it a girl or a boy? So my initial gut instinct, Digital Oil Hunter, was that you are having a girl.
Oh.
But as I was talking, boy kept flashing in my brain. So here's the deal. It's going to be weird here. It's either going to be a boy because that's what kept flashing in my brain, or it's gonna be maybe both.
Yeah.
We do have experience with hermaphrodites around here, so we know how that works. So that'd be kind of weird. The reality is, just right now, it's Schrodinger's baby. You don't know until you know. You don't know until you know.
Awesome.
But maybe we should start taking bets.
So number 3,
yeah,
I plan on watching Reanimator tonight, personally.
Like the Reanimator.
The first one. Well, we've been watching some scary, fun movies because of October, and that was the next on my list.
We watched the Zombieland 2 last night and enjoyed that. So yeah, that was a good one. But for you, Digital, The Little Mermaid is on your list. So that's the movie you should watch tonight, The Little Mermaid.
Oh, was this an earlier conversation that I had missed today?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
I'm just pegging the DOH as a Little Mermaid kind of person.
Okay, nice.
So.
Little Mermaid is
they want
to
be part of our world. They want to be part of our world.
And I was watching it earlier. They were talking about the best pizza delivery, that he had the answer.
Oh yeah. What was voted the best delivery pizza at All Things Considered? Oh, interesting. Do you think it was Jets?
Jets would be a good one.
Man, that's a tough one. What do you think it is?
don't know. Oops.
Like you think it would depend on your place, right? Especially if it was like a franchise.
Hmm.
Gal, I don't know. What do you think it is? They do have the answer.
I was gonna say Papa John's. That's actually my favorite for the chain places. But Jets is super good. It's not they aren't as I don't know where that person where Digital Oil Hunter lives,
Yeah.
but there's Jets are in Michigan and there are some around here. I honestly don't know where else they are.
So on a totally different note, I have never had Jets delivery that I know of.
Okay.
So, So, maybe. Let us know, Digital Oil Hunter. Let us know either in the Discord or in the chat which it is. So you, with your tattoo, you got trolled by people, right?
I did. I was gonna bring this up.
Yeah.
It was actually really I mean, I like to think I'm a nice person and I like any of that stuff doesn't really bother me anyways. Like
Yes.
and I'm a firm believer, like what Gary says, like if someone's gonna go there, they're either really just trying to mess with you or they're in a bad spot. So it was funny. One person's, and I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a fake name, anyways, but
Yeah.
I guess I'm adding more to the story. So if anybody researches it, they can find who it was. But someone said, "Oh, that's the worst mistake that I've ever seen anyone make." And so I wrote back and I was like, "It's not even close to the worst mistake that I've ever made." And I saw that this person had an ape avatar. And I said, I look forward to hanging out at the condo for the ape condo, and then we can discuss our mistakes. And
Yeah.
they actually wrote back and said that they sold Ethereum at $8 in ETH to help fix a friend's car. That was their biggest mistake.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
So then they DM'd me, apologized for trolling me. And then we probably chatted back and forth for like another half hour, 45 minutes after that. So it was really funny.
That is just great. So, just as an aside for our listeners and viewing public, do you have any idea how many ETH he sold?
No idea. I didn't ask. I
How
just
much did
said
he say he sold for?
he said he sold it for $8.
Okay, so
And
he
I
sold it
said
for
I
$8 and it was for a car repair, right?
and I said I didn't even know what Ethereum was when it was $8. So
But you've got to assume that if it's a car repair, that it had to have been something like around $200. Otherwise, you could find the money, right?
yeah, that's what I was thinking, that it was.
Minimum 200. So
Mhm.
if he sold it for $8 a share and it was or an ETH, then that means he had 25 ETH,
Yeah.
which is today worth $100,000.
He said it was his biggest mistake.
Well, wait, he said your arm was the biggest mistake he's ever seen. Are you freaking kidding me? If any of our listeners wants to give me $100,000 right now to get something tattooed on my arm, I will do it. I'm not even going to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, yeah, I don't think that's a big mistake. I think I would trade your V friend's tattoo for having his 25 E. That's what I think.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Right? Like, no,
But it was
no
it
doubt.
was fun. It was just really cool. Like it was funny. Like
Oh,
there
yeah.
was one guy who had said, I think he said that's not for me or something, but his name was Doctor something or other, and I wanted to say, well, you really can't unless you really really wanted to. There's a certain perception that comes along with being a doctor, I would think.
Yeah.
Now I have many hats that I wear, but I don't answer to anybody. So, and I was going to say that, but I was just like, well, I don't really. It's not for everybody, and I don't really suggest it for anybody. Like
Right.
honestly, but it was something for myself that I wanted to do, but they didn't interact at all.
Yeah. I think Amy thought it was weird. I didn't really talk to her too much about it, but that's
Hmm.
kind of what I would expect. Right. Like,
Oh yeah.
her and I don't have tattoos, so I'm not like
Yeah. Well, that's like
surprised.
I was telling Jason, I said, Jason, Jason's reaction was much better than yours. And he's like, well, maybe it was because Brian was on, you guys were on the podcast and he didn't want to, and he's like, or maybe like it just wasn't that weird to him. I'm like, I've known Brian forever, or a ball buster forever. I said, I've done a lot more weirder things than that. So it's really hard to shock him.
That is nowhere near any of the weirdest things that I would classify you've done. In fact, Amy wasn't surprised about the tattoo. What she didn't like, there were multiple things she didn't like. So I will share them with you and our audience.
Awesome.
And you guys can judge Amy however you want. Thing one, your tattoo messes with almost every sensibility she has.
Mm-hmm.
So that's first. And the biggest one that it messes with is she does not like it here. She's like, that's the kind of tattoo that you put here. She
No one's gonna see
down
it.
the side. She goes, or along your leg. She goes, this is like the weirdest spot for a tattoo. She goes, that's just messed up. And I'm like, well,
Good.
I go, I like it. It's a forearm shiver. That's cool. And she goes, I can't handle it that there's a 2-7 split. She goes, why would you do a 2-7? And I'm like, I don't know. You'd have to ask him. She goes, I don't like that it's 9. It has to be an even number. It can't be 9. Seriously, like everything about it. She's like, ah.
That's awesome. I love that. I love it. I love Amy.
I know. But I get it. I'm like, I get what you're saying, honey. I get it. Like, we're symmetry kind of people.
Yeah. Well, it's still symmetrical. There. Did you notice the 2 are in the middle though?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Okay. She
noticed
that
it for sure. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I really
How did you
did.
choose the fish on top?
Do you want to know the truth?
I think I
do.
do.
So my idea first was to have them all in one row.
Yeah.
And then to have then to possibly do colors with them. And
Yes.
I couldn't decide how I wanted to do the colors. So Aubrey, he made them a size where there would still be enough detail.
Right.
Because if they're too small, it's just going to kind of look messy and smashed. So we started putting them on, and we started at the elbow, and he didn't want to go too far in. So that was about as far in. So I did Bubbly Buzzard because it's a core. So if I add color, he's a white.
Okay.
This is my lava. So that would have been the yellow and orange. These 5 are all oranges. So I put those 5 in the middle. And then the Compassionate Catfish, if it was one row, would have been a green. And then the gift goats, the gift goat, and it's, blue in the picture and everything.
Right.
But once we started putting them down, they didn't fit. So it was like, and I mean, we could have washed my arm and rethought everything and just redid it. But like he already had the like little ink things on there, because it's like on the paper, and then he puts the ink on there, and then he uses the gun and does it.
Right.
So then we just move those up. So yeah, that's why it happened like that.
So there was no real reason except for the color, and then it getting messed up because of the color.
Yeah, and then it just, my arm wasn't long enough.
Those are reasons.
So well planned.
And you didn't think just for a minute, and I'm asking this for the listeners, not for me, right? You didn't think for a minute, you know what? Let's take a second. Let's take a break. Let's rearrange it, figure it out before I have it permanently tattooed on my body.
No, I mean, so even if I was to switch it, say, and just did like 2 full rows, I didn't want it to be so small. I wanted to have the long row, and I was fine with the 2 being up here. Those are two awesome ones. But if I would have had shorter, they couldn't have been any bigger. They would have just been in more. So I could have had.
You want your otter up there instead of the fish?
No.
Where are you going to put the ape?
I don't know. I mean, I debate on my ape. If I did the ape, I'd probably go on my arm.
Ooh.
My arm higher. But I go back and forth on the ape. The thing that's weird with the ape, I like to think it's my forever ape. But I mean, I go back and forth. If if I can get 3 to 5 for it,
Yeah.
would I
Well,
like buy a
that's
new
a great
house?
question about your V friends. Are you not planning on selling any of those 9 ever?
As of right now, no. When I first bought them, honestly, all my very rares I had planned on. I was going to sell the very rares once everything was announced for VCon. Like when all the people were announced, I figured there'd be a jump in price. But
Right.
never in my wildest dreams did I even think that the prices would be where they are now.
Hmm.
So,
Interesting.
I was like, oh, if I could double or triple my money and sell these for VCons, and then other people will be going, and because those are the oranges I bought, all the very rares I bought late when Gary said, oh, these are all priced really low.
Right. Right.
I moved over extra money and I bought all those that night because he was on that live podcast or
Right.
on the Discord.
No, that kind of makes sense.
So yeah, I mean, as of right now, thankfully I'm in a position where I don't have to, and it's something that can be passed on to my godchildren and my children and
Well, and
loved
I'm
ones,
I'm excited to cut the skin off your arms
nephews.
someday.
There you go.
So
Exactly.
why is that? I thought I unhid that. Oh, I had to click another button. I got the Fame Ladies song today. Did you get that?
Oh, did you? No, I don't have it.
Someone tweeted and said, "Hey, we've got like 30 left. If anybody still wants these." I'm like, "Yeah, hit me." And they're like, "Well, you need to give us your wallet." And I'm like, "Okay." So I gave them my wallet, and it
That's awesome.
got dropped and hidden. And now I just unhid it to my thing. I haven't listened to it yet.
That's awesome.
I'm listening to it now. It sounds good.
Okay. So can't remember. Did I talk about I can't remember when I sold my World
Holy
of Women
cow.
because I had them listed for a little while.
This song that
What?
somebody just sold or just dropped to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, yeah, cool, whatever. Like I didn't even think about it. Like I
Yeah.
just was like, oh yeah, I want my Fame Ladies
Mm-hmm.
song. So they've just been giving them away, but it says that it's the current price for it is $418, not E.
But still, that's awesome.
And I'm like, that's crazy.
Was that in the Discord? They're probably gone now.
It was on Twitter, and I doubt it. I doubt it's gone. I think there's still a few left. You'd have to check and see. I don't think anybody's actually bought one for any amount of money. I'm kind of curious.
Yeah,
So,
people just might be listing them.
right, right.
But
So I
yeah,
have,
it's been a fun 15 minutes, and I had a great time, of course. And
well, and you're going to be getting interviewed, and you got a whole bunch of new friends. You might find that that takes you to a new level of people.
I think with the excitement that happened, I think I'm going to be recognized at VCon.
You broke up. I don't know if that broke up for our listeners
Oh,
or just me.
if I think I'll be recognized at VCon
Oh,
because
I
of
think
how
so.
everything happened.
Yes, yes. People pay attention to that stuff, and Gary paid
Yeah,
attention. And you
yeah,
were already friends with Gary V, so I wouldn't
yeah.
be
He and I
surprised.
he and I go way back. He's
Way
he's
back,
liked a couple of my things.
way back, way back. So the last thing I want to talk about on this episode is Weird Uncaged in the 8.1. And
Mhm.
the big thing, I don't know if you saw this challenge, but
I
I think
did.
it's awesome. So first off, I love these graphics. So these are 8.1's propaganda posters. For those of you listening on Spotify instead of watching, the first 3 are different variations of black and red of the 8.1 logo with underneath saying the 8.1 Uncaged. And there's one that's white on black. So there's 3 of them, all
Mhm.
different kind of variations. And I think they look sweet. If I were going to get a tattoo, I'd probably get that tattoo. I think that's awesome.
Awesome. You could
Right?
definitely do that.
Doesn't it look sweet?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, these guys are just so good. And then there's 3 more propaganda posters. One where the Uncaged is got 8.1 spray painted on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got a few others like that. It's got a exploded head in spray paint. And then the final 2 have nails with some, but they're like kind of the old
Yeah.
school propaganda and they look good. And the challenge that Uncaged is doing is you take a picture with these posters or put the posters up or Photoshop these posters into real life situations. They're going to narrow it down to a certain amount, then they're going to have the community vote, and the winner gets a free nails.
Yeah, that's super awesome.
And for those of you who haven't been following along, if you get a free nails, you're actually getting 8 NFTs. So you're getting a lot. So I'm like,
Yes.
that's kind of a big deal there. Also, I keep forgetting that they said originally they were only going to release 1 to 2,000 of these.
Okay, so has it been going up, you think?
I don't know if it's going to or not.
Or they're unsure.
They have 3,500 members in the Discord right now.
Yeah.
Right. So if they only do 2,000, there's going to be a lot less,
That's pretty awesome.
Who knows if they're going to crank it up? I think it's probably going to be hard to keep it at 1 or 2, right? If there's a big demand. But they said they will allow people to purchase the other characters later on.
Okay.
They'll probably do less than 1,000, they said, from somewhere to 0.03 to 0.06 to get new members into the community. But the nails are the ones that are, the big ones. They're the rare ones, and they're the big ones. So,
yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That might be worth putting some up and taking some pictures and doing some fun stuff.
That's what I'm saying. If there's only 1 to 2,000, that's not very many when you have 3,000 in your Discord alone.
Yeah. Right? And I mean, it doesn't necessarily always turn like the number of people in the Discord all buy, because that's not necessarily a thing. But, I think that the community seems really cool. They seem really tight, and the people that I've randomly talked to would be, they're excited about the drop coming.
Yes. And I'm typing stuff on here and people are seeing what I'm doing, and that's probably annoying to be looking at the Discord. I just told them last questions for tonight, so we'll see if anybody goes. So, but yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the community. For OGs, they lowered the level. I don't know if you saw that for being waitlisted.
I saw that there was going to be an announcement, and I was on there earlier today.
So if you are an OG, they changed it so you only have to get to level 15.
Okay.
Nobody cut my hair. I've been wearing a hat all day. So I was asked a question on there by a guy named Jeremy Antrim.
Oh my gosh, sounds like a great guy.
Sounds like a great guy. And
Raging Nick wants to know too.
I know it needs to be cut badly, but I was outside working today, and so wearing a ball cap, and so now it's all like pressed down, and I kind of look like that guy from Charlie's Angels a little bit, I think.
Charlie?
The thin man?
I don't remember.
I don't remember that in the Drew Barrymore Cameron Diaz movie.
I don't know if I ever saw
also,
that
my house is super hot. So for those of you who aren't familiar, and some of our listeners know this, we talk a lot about how it gets cold up here in Michigan where I live. Well, last night it was 36. So, and it was a brisk 40 this morning. So we started a fire in the wood burner. And the problem is with our wood burner, so we started it yesterday and then we let it run all night or whatever and kept it going today, is the wood burner will turn this house into an oven if you're not careful.
It's so wonderful.
It's so nice. So the air conditioning almost turned on today because the wood burner got the house so hot and we hadn't shut off the air conditioner yet. So,
awesome.
We caught it right before it did. It was about to hit 76 in the main area. And we're like, and yes, Kilted loves the heat. We here love the cold. So we don't mind the freezing cold. And so having it get up to 76 for us was a little warm in our house. So,
Heck yeah. That's funny.
So there you go, Raging Nick. That's the answer. No one cut it yet. It needs to be cut.
So I mean, it is exciting. It's this week sometime. I'm sure we're going to have at least another episode or two before they go live, but it is pretty exciting.
I think they're going to do. I suggested in here that they do a launch party, and if they do a launch party, who knows? Maybe we'll stream the podcast when we do the launch. Right?
Yeah, we'll have to learn how to do that.
Dang it! More stuff to do. I had another idea this week and I already forgot it, by the way. So there's that too.
Yeah, your idea I think is so cool, and Gina thought it was a great idea as
Did she?
well.
Amy was like, I did not say, after she watched the podcast, she was like, I did not say you should do that. I'm like, you didn't? I'm
What?
pretty sure you said this is a really good idea. She's like, I did say it was a good idea. And I'm like, well, that means do it. And she's like, that's not what I said.
Perfect.
I'm like, okay, then sounds like yes, do that idea. So,
That's really what she means when she says that, because she knows. Yeah.
she knows. She knows.
Mhm.
So anyway, people, enjoy your weekend. You'll probably hear from us again sometime early in the week. Thanks for
Yep.
joining us on the Kilted Balls podcast. And this is Ballbuster signing out.
Kilted Dragon Jer, love you all.